This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Deyvis, Ferreira, Kristen, Jordan, and Margaret. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Nathan Bailey, Tanners, and Bill Gibson to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really, truly appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 10 and 11 of Crossroads of Twilight.
Yeah, chapter 10 is A Blazing Beacon, and chapter 11 is Talk of Depths.
Uh-huh.
Whoa, I said that weird. Depths.
What did you say?
Depths.
Oh.
It's depths.
You don't say the B.
Yeah,
it's
no,
silent.
you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking because the Blazing Beacon, it's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a line. It's a time stamp chapter.
Oh, I know.
Why'd you make that sound?
Because we are almost halfway through this book and we haven't even advanced a day. We haven't even advanced one day in the story.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually back in time.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
Yeah, some people feel the same way you feel about that. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But I do have to say, this is the first time, these two chapters, this book, that I've genuinely been bored.
Really?
Yeah. Because before, like, even with the Perrin and Fael stuff, I'm genuinely interested in that storyline.
Yeah.
I really kind of want to know what Crazy Massima's doing. I really want to know, are we going to find the shadow? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I want to know, are we going to rescue Fael? What's happening with Morghese? All that stuff I'm interested in, and I'm reading to find out what's going on.
Right.
And I mean, slightly disappointed when we don't get too much, but we do get some.
Yeah.
And it was still interesting. I feel like I'm not interested in this plotline even remotely.
You don't care about Elaine's campaign for mayor. You don't care.
Oh my God.
So,
and I never have,
Which is really funny because when I was like reading through these chapters.
Tell me more about the siege, like about the fighting, about the...
I had a fun time with these chapters. Like I actually had a lot of fun reading and going through it.
Yeah.
Because of the funny little like things that happen. So maybe we can liven it up a little bit.
Okay, and then the second chapter... Chapter 11, instead of Talk of Debts, it could have been called Some Aes Sedai Kind of Argue.
Yeah.
And that's all really that happens.
And Elaine is suspicious. She's got a suspicious list.
Yes, she does. She has a suspicious list.
Which I'm going to ask, is it a different list than your list? Because the people on Elaine's list are very different than the people on your list.
That's true.
And one of you might not be right.
That's true.
Or both.
Or both.
Or you could both be right.
Or we could both be right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, because I don't think that Elaine's going to have Noel on her suspicious list. That doesn't make any sense. She doesn't even know who that is.
Adelius's murder.
I know that.
Okay.
I'm just talking about my actual physical list. But why don't you start us off, and then when we get to that point, we can talk about it.
Okay, well now I'm a little concerned about doing this fun fact. Well, okay, here's the thing. When you were saying this is a really boring chapter, I don't want you to feel that way about my fun fact.
Uh-oh.
But
okay, here's the thing about your fun facts.
Sure.
Babe.
Don't use that tone with me.
They're always kind of boring.
Okay,
I know a lot of people really enjoy them.
I'll liven it up. You want to know some hot controversy in the Wheel of Time universe?
Oh my gosh,
this is a big one. Okay, this is something
always start it like that.
It's something that I've held on to it.
We want the drama.
Since Fires of Heaven.
Whoa.
I've held on to it.
Oh my gosh.
I've been waiting for another occurrence of this thing.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
I'm
about to be disappointed, I feel.
That is the exact face you make when you're about to be disappointed. Okay. In chapter 2, back in Fires of Heaven, we got mention of a pakara, which is being served to the Aiel, and it's described as a pale, wrinkled nut. And then in this episode,
this is boring.
We've got Avienda sitting, like, mentioning the whole, maybe Rand's sitting around a fire, we could all be roasting pakara. And
is it
there's
chestnuts?
Well, here's the thing. No, this is the hot controversy. And when I say hot controversy, it's like not really.
Very serious controversy. I get it.
So a pale, wrinkled nut. Could be one of two things. It could either be a walnut.
Well, the walnut shell is wrinkled, not the walnut itself.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Looks like a little brain.
Wasn't that the shell?
Well, the shell is kind of wrinkly, too. It looks like
the shell is very wrinkly of a walnut. Oh, I guess a walnut's kind of... Okay.
I think I need to show you a picture of a walnut.
Okay, now I'm picturing it. It's like the lungs.
Yeah.
It looks like lungs.
Yeah, and the shell looks like it's just been hailed on. It has like dents in a car roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it could be a walnut.
Okay.
Or a pecan. Or pecan or pecan. However you want to say it.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing. Which one is it?
I don't know, but I have to tell you, recently I ate a pecan pie for the first time in my life.
Okay.
And I was so disappointed.
How do you... This is the first thing I want to know.
How
do you say it? How do you actually say it? I grew up saying pecan.
Pecan. Yeah.
And it's
funny.
I
know in the South it's probably pecan.
Want to know part of my fun fact?
No.
Is the pronunciation about pecan or pecan or
Okay, I
think
people are more interested in my first experience with the pecan pie.
I don't know that they are.
I've
you go.
only ever seen a whole pecan pie before.
Yeah.
And I assumed the entire thing was like kind of
filled with pecans.
I thought the whole thing looked like the top of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good. And then we recently had the opportunity to order one, which we don't have very many opportunities to do here.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised and disappointed when the slice of pie came.
Yeah.
And it's only the top layer that has pecans.
Yeah, but it's got like the delicious inside. And I love pecan pie. Like, it's great.
It was okay, but it just was not what I was expecting. Now,
side note, if
when
I had
we're
to
in
choose...
Atlanta, we should probably find some pecan pie.
Okay, yeah, fair. I was going to say I'm a pie guy. I prefer pie over cake.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Anyways, getting back to it, which one is it?
Oh, I don't care.
I want to hear, because I'm going to give you
I'm going to give you...
some facts about walnuts and pecans.
I'm going to give you another nut it could be.
Okay.
Which is more pale than both of those.
Okay, go.
And it's the cashew.
Yeah, it's not that one.
Why?
Cashews aren't wrinkled.
Well,
are you crazy? You take crazy pills this morning?
But it's pale.
It's pale, but it's not wrinkled.
The other two aren't pale.
Holy moly, that's the worst take you've ever had.
Pale.
Okay, well, I'm going to want to hear other people's opinions after I go through this, but I'm going to try to convince you it's one or the other. So, first off, the paled wrinkled nut. For the side of is it a walnut, here's some fun facts. Walnuts are the oldest tree nuts known, dating back to 7,000 BCE.
Walnuts are kind of waxy, but I do like a good crushed walnut in a banana bread.
Okay, fair.
And in brownies. I am for walnuts and brownies.
I like that too. Geographically and climate-wise, it would make more sense for the West to have walnuts than it would possibly
Well, then it's probably
with pecans.
Can we
move on? I'm not done yet. No. Okay. And that could be argued, though, because I don't know enough about climates. But anyways, it's also often referred to as a royal nut, and walnuts used to be reserved for royalty. And the word walnut is derived from Old English, which means foreign nut. Not very creative.
Okay.
Anyways, on the pecan side, or pecan, there's many pronunciations and little agreement regarding what the correct pronunciation is, even regionally. But the word pecan is from Algonquin and variously refers to different pecans, walnuts, and hickory nuts. But here's the thing. In other languages, it's called a pecana, which is much closer to pecara than walnut is to pecara.
Oh, that is true.
Pecana or pecan or for pecara.
Mm-hmm.
A lot closer. It's not pale.
I think that for Robert Jordan, we're going with the name and less about the climate it grows in.
Here's the last thing, though.
Oh, okay. Tell me what.
When Spanish explorers first came into contact with the nut, pecans, in North America, they called it, I'm not going to try the Spanish version of it.
Really? Because people really love your pronunciation.
Nuez de la Aruga.
Uh-huh.
And it roughly translates to wrinkle nut.
Wrinkle nut.
I'm going with it's a pecan.
Pecan. I'm still going to stick with cashew for fun.
Yeah, that's the wrong opinion, but that's okay. Anyways, there we go.
It's the Brazil nut.
See, you said you weren't excited about this, but you've been very interactive with this.
I'm just trying to make it more interesting, and I'm kind of putting off getting...
Doing this? Let's do this thing. Okay. Let's get into Elaine's head.
Okay. I managed to procrastinate
talking
about these chapters for 10 minutes.
This is the issue. We got potatoes. There's no steak. There's no gravy. There's no sides.
We just got a plate of potatoes.
Whole body
which
potatoes.
Some people really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
All right.
For those.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make it fun. Let's have a good time.
All right. Well, last time we were here, Perrin and crew found the Shido camp and are coming up with a plan to rescue Fael, but it's not gonna go very well.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And maybe Fael will do it herself.
Well, that's what I was gonna say next, because Fael is inside and trying her best to escape herself, but it's also not going great.
Yeah, alright.
So that's where we left,
Mm-hmm.
and now we have not heard from Elaine since...
The cliffhanger.
Of Winter's Heart?
Yep. We got left on a cliffhanger of the news.
No, didn't we see her in the prologue?
Did we see her in the prologue? Have I already forgotten that?
Maybe. I think we did, actually.
So, no, we looked, and so we got Bale and Davram Bashir.
Oh.
Bale was like, we should go murder everybody, because we could do it like this afternoon.
Right.
And Bashir was like, no, don't.
Right. And I was like, yes, do.
Yes, do. And it still might come to yes, do. I remember but now. For now, it's no, don't.
You know who we definitely should murder? David Hanlon.
We gotta get there
first. We gotta murder that guy.
You know what? There's some funny stuff in these chapters. Let's do this.
Okay, so chapter 10, A Blazing Beacon, which is a very exciting name for a very dull chapter.
Well, you know.
So, the Aes Sedai symbol is our chapter icon. And in my notes, I have the only exciting thing that happens here is that they're staying in a haunted house.
You know what? That's actually part of the hilarious part of this chapter. I started laughing out loud in the first couple of pages.
I just don't understand.
It's so good.
I'm so lost. I'm so confused.
Are you actually?
By that random plot point, and
it's not that confusing.
I'll get to it.
Okay. Well, it happens immediately, so let's get there.
Okay. So we're in an Elaine perspective, and she's having the last of her buttons done up by the slowest maid in the universe named Elsie.
Yes.
And now I have to say, I've heard the pronunciation of Else Grinwell.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say Elsie.
Okay.
But this is I-E.
Yeah.
This is clearly
Elsie.
Elsie. This can't be anything else. So.
It can't be anything Elsie.
Oh! Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, but Elaine hates all of this.
Yeah.
Her moods are super up and down because she's pregnant, and that's the theme
of
all of us.
Of a bunch. She's not only she's got a lot of feelings about a lot of things with pregnancy.
Sure.
Which is fair, because that happens.
Yeah. So it turns out Elaine is in the process of visiting as many tiny houses in Andor that are loyal to her as she can, and this is the 5th place that she has...
No, 5th time she's gone out of Camelin to spend time in the countryside. So we learn
not the 5th place.
Yeah, this is the 5th time,
19,
5th day.
I remember, actually.
Yeah. So we've been to 19 places. She visits 3 to 5 per trip, and this is her 5th trip out of Camelin.
Okay.
Since she heard that Ari Milla's forces were coming, so she probably escaped and went out for a couple of times in that week before the forces showed up, and she's still clearly going out because traveling is a thing. Yeah,
right.
She can do it.
And Ari Milla, can't channel.
Idiot.
Can't travel. All right, so Elsie's finally done doing up all her buttons, and just as Elaine is about to leave, Elsie opens the door and then lets out this shriek, and Elaine whips around and embraces Saidar, and I'm like, oh my god, something exciting is actually happening?
Immediately? Oh my goodness.
Gosh,
yeah.
I'm excited.
Trick.
Yeah,
Trick.
Prank. So, she sees Elsie staring down the hall, and Elaine is like, what happened? Because she's preparing a couple weaves.
Yeah.
But obviously nobody's rushing in, attacking anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going on. And Elsie doesn't answer. And Elaine's like, you look like you've seen a ghost.
Yeah.
And Elsie says, I did.
I did see a ghost.
And I wrote in my notes, this ought to be good. I was like, whoa, what's this all about?
Yeah.
She's seen a ghost. Turns out it's some long dead grandmother.
An angry grandmother who nobody likes, and she doesn't like anybody.
And Elaine thinks, phew, not the Black Aja following me, or assassins, or allied as Aes Sedai, or anything else.
Side note, this is the funniest point.
But then we're never going to hear anything ever about this again, and this entire plot point and me getting excited was such a waste of my time.
Okay, well, you got overly excited. But I love the fact that she's like, oh, phew, it's not Black Aja, it's not Assassins, it's not Elidas Aes Sedai.
It's just a ghost.
It's not Fades, it's not Trollocs, it's not Darkhound, it's not a Golem, it's not Drakkar, it's not Forsaken, it's not Bubbles of Evil, it's not Seanchan.
We get it.
I got a couple more. It's ghosts.
It's ghosts.
Anyways, but here's the thing. It might be Bubbles of Evil. because we've had a few references with people seeing visions of dead people in the past little while. The veil is thinning in Randland, and we've gotten a few times that people are like seeing the dead walk, seeing ghostly stuff. We've gotten in Abu Dar like the weird mist stuff that people are dying in. Like, we're getting weird stuff, and it's just another occurrence.
This doesn't feel like that.
Well, I mean, she specifically saw the old... So we don't really know.
Maybe this is just a point that ghosts exist here in this universe.
Okay. I mean, it could be what I said.
It could be what
it
feels like a
ghosts are a thing.
It feels like a waste of my time, and I don't care.
Okay.
Because I was like, this ought to be good.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Well, don't worry, because they're not of this world. And as a side note, fireballs are like okay to use against ghosts. They're not the worst.
I don't think that they would be effective.
Well, it would be moderately effective, because typically
against a ghost?
Ghosts have resistance to fire damage. So I mean, it's canon.
Is that?
Yeah, that's official.
Is that
official rules?
Is that D&D?
Yeah, official rules.
I see. I don't know.
So
okay.
she was preparing like a fireball and a couple other things.
Was she?
She was.
Okay. Well.
Anyways.
All right.
The ghost is gone now.
Who
so
are you
don't
gonna
worry.
call?
Bruce Willis? I don't know.
Nope.
Bill
Gotta
Murray.
Say it.
Bill Murray.
You gotta
Okay.
say Ghostbusters.
Right.
Brett.
I'm not falling into that one.
I wanted you to say it, though.
It's fine.
It's the only joke I have.
Okay.
All right. So Elaine then just goes, ignores all of this. We never hear about it ever again. And Elaine finds Avienda down the hallway.
Yeah.
And
we're leaving.
Once they get to each other, Avienda looks troubled and is like, Elaine, how did you sleep? Did you send for more wine? And then we learn about all this crap. Avienda had the wine watered down at dinner. Elaine doesn't like it. She's like, yes, Mom, no, Mom. And then she says she drank her goat's milk and she hates it.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to move on.
Okay. You know what? RJ got one thing, I think, pretty accurate.
What?
Elaine thinks, because of all the advice that she gets, and she really hates being treated like a child or a baby.
Yeah.
And she thinks those who had never born a child themselves were the worst. And I think possibly accurate.
I mean, I guess.
Like, maybe, right?
Yeah. Just, let her do what she wants.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And sometimes Elaine can be, brainless, not because she's pregnant, but because she's just kind of stupid sometimes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she's like, hey, just ignore the ghost. Maybe we should investigate.
Actually,
that
would have been really interesting.
Go to the basement, find out what the ghost wants,
How do you know the ghost is in the basement? Maybe it went to the attic.
Either to the spooky basement or the haunted attic. Go to one of those places and
That's
say, what's
where
up?
ghosts live.
Find out what the ghost wants. There you go.
Yeah.
It's the unfinished business side of the ghost, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right.
Anyways, she's just going to leave.
All right. So Elaine thinks about how she wished that Min had told her if she would have a boy or a girl. And then we get a big recap about how Avienda and Brigida were super hammered and don't remember the viewing.
Mm-hmm. Shoot. And do you remember what it is?
It's twins.
It's twins. And it's both. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Okay.
Now, at this point, Elaine thinks about Rand and how she misses him and can still feel him slightly. And then this is where we get a timestamp that Rand had been to the south of her for a long time. And then, just this morning, he traveled to the west.
Yeah.
So.
There we go. Farmadding.
Farmadding.
To Shadow Logoth.
That's right.
There we go. Timestamp.
Timestamp.
Mm-hmm.
And then a funny little tidbit about how Rand is going to die because of the channeling, and there's nothing Elaine can do to stop that, but then Rand's literally in the process of stopping that.
He's working on it. It's just a fun little tidbit and I think he throws it in a couple of times this chapter, where there's the thought process of the men going mad, dying, and you can't resolve it, but good thing we have Rand.
Good thing we're on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, the doors to the outside open, and a man comes in who only has one leg, and he's using a crutch. And he's the guy who manages the estate for the Lord here. Elaine's escort is all ready to go, but he sounds a bit concerned that they weren't able to put together much of an armed escort for her, because this Lord had already called all of his troops to go to Camelin to go help Elaine.
So he's halfway there.
Or dead.
The other issue is that all of Elaine's current escort is a bunch of ladies in silk.
Well, that's her bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
lace.
Yeah, but that's the point. Is they look fancy. They're effective. From what it seems, they're pretty effective.
Yes.
But they look fancy. So this guy, he's like, oh, we could only scrape together a couple of boys and old men.
Yes.
So I guess hopefully they'll be good enough because those ladies.
Right.
Which, Maybe they have the boob armor done. I don't know. We don't really get clarification on that.
I don't know if that has anything to do with their fighting skills.
Well,
I actually trust her armed guard here that Brigida's put together.
I do too. I'm saying that this crutch man doesn't.
Oh.
That's why he's like overly cut. He's like, I don't know.
Okay.
So.
Well, anyway, I think what we really need to focus on here is the fact that the entire armed force of this place is on its way to Camelin and might be dead.
Why do you think they're dead?
Because that's what they say. Elaine is legitimately concerned. It's like 50-50 shot, she thinks.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, there's that. But like
because there's passes or something that they have to pass through.
Well, and it's like winter.
And he's like, either they're dead in the passes or they're on their way to Camelin.
Yeah. And that seems to be the trend with all these like minor houses right now. So
which is not good.
Yeah, I mean, you're really latching on this like
and they're just gonna like
thing.
Go up on the army that's blocking the gates.
They're not just gonna march up there. That's not. They wouldn't just like, oh, we're here. Let us through.
Well, maybe they don't even know, really, and they're just gonna like.
Why
go
would
up.
they come though? Okay.
Okay, but we have to assemble somewhere first, and I don't know if that's. It feels scattered.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? That's fair.
Slightly unorganized.
It does feel scattered.
Nobody's like talking.
Does it help that Elaine thinks the armies are being so slow getting to Camelin that this conflict will probably be over by the time they make it there? Does it help?
No.
Because she has that thought.
Yeah.
She's like, it'll be done before they get there.
Maybe not.
Okay.
And she just has no idea where anyone is. Otherwise, she'd pop up a gateway for them.
Yeah. She can't find them.
No.
I would follow the road.
Oh, the road.
Yeah, I would like find the roads, and then like you have 150 channelers.
That's true.
And a bunch of you can make gateway. Like there's solutions.
Except that if we're making gateways in random places, we're probably slicing some people in half.
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
That's a possibility.
So I have solutions. I have solutions in my mind. So
when you say solutions, I think you're about to say Solutia. You know the character? Like the way you say solutions is kind of funny. I never noticed that before.
Well, her name is basically the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyways.
Can we move on now?
I guess so.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't want to hear my solutions. Okay.
No. All right. So Avienda and Elaine get out the door. This is how long it's taken for us to like leave this place.
But like this is the thing that happens
of
this
ghosts
chapter.
And old men with one leg.
Yeah.
Avienda takes a cup of hot spiced wine for the road.
Elaine doesn't.
And Elaine can't.
Cause pregnant.
Yeah. Which is fair. That one I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But you could have got her like an apple cider or something.
Sure.
Like a hot apple cider.
Yeah.
That's not alcoholic.
I was also wondering like what's the alcohol
hot chocolate?
I want to know alcohol content of like old-timey drinks.
Yeah.
Like what was it really like? Was it like it is now or was it weaker? Was it more strong? I don't know.
I don't know either. That sounds like a fun fact.
Yeah.
Should probably look into that.
I could look into that.
Yeah.
I could find out. Okay.
All right, so we're all ready to go. And Avienda says to Elaine, we visited a bunch of these manors already, and we've only gathered like 200 men, and they're either boys or super old men. Is this like really worth it?
Yeah.
And Elaine explains that yes, it is worth it.
And I'm going to give Elaine points here because I agree with her philosophy.
I think she does understand the politics of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not necessarily about the troops. It's not about the 200 guys she's gathered as soldiers. That's not the important part. The important part is getting the word out that she's alive, she's here, she's not like desperate and begging for help.
Yeah, she's showing up in her silks.
Yeah, that was like half of the plot point of the first 3 pages was she's like in her nice...
changing her clothes,
Yeah, and it takes a long time. But it helps because people are going to exaggerate what they've seen also... Hopefully in her favor.
In her favor,
yeah. And that's what it kind of seems like.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that is she has to also, not only win Camelin, win the throne, but she has to have the support of the people behind her when she does it, because she doesn't know how long it's going to be until the last battle comes, and she's going to have to say, hey, literally everybody, let's go, I guess. You can't leave people behind at that point because it's the last battle.
Right.
Right? So.
Okay. So they finally mount up and off they go, and they make it to where they arrive by Gateway, and Avienda is the one doing the channeling because we're not sure if channeling is safe while pregnant.
Yeah.
And no one really talks about that, and I said I don't really get pregnant, but a bunch of the wise ones have all been pregnant and can channel.
But also, Wise One channeling isn't like a part of who they are necessarily, so maybe they do.
Maybe they refrain from it while they're pregnant?
Like, maybe.
But nobody talks about it, nobody's asked.
Yeah.
Right.
But nobody said don't, and
but
you feel
nobody has said for sure do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And you think if it was dangerous, you'd be like, hey, by the way, don't.
Well, like, who, though? Who would say that?
Well, I mean, maybe one of the Wise Ones, like Elaine's been around enough.
What Wise Ones, though, here?
Maybe Avienda might know.
But Avienda doesn't know.
I know. It's just, I'm trying to come up with ideas here. No. It's tricky.
Yeah. Anyone who might know isn't even here or knows,
Yeah. There is a note here that Elaine is having a really hard time shrugging off the cold. You know that thing where they can like ignore the weather?
The concentration thing, yeah.
Yeah, so she's having a real tough time with that, so.
Okay. Well, abruptly, Elaine can feel someone channeling Saidar, and it's not her or Avienda, and it's a blazing beacon.
Yeah.
What?
It's the cleansing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there we go. It's a lineup.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
There's a lot of description from Elaine's point of view.
Oh my god, so much. But even though nothing has changed in her bond with Rand, she knows that this has something to do with him, and Elaine says he's in danger, we must go to him. But Avienda is a little bit...
not pregnant.
Yeah, she has her wits about her.
Yeah.
She isn't thinking emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Although, to be fair, even when women are pregnant, they don't just become morons, for the most part.
That's true.
Like I had some trouble word finding, and I felt kind of dumb sometimes.
And sometimes
like the brain fog is kind of real sometimes.
Yeah, brain fog was real, and then like emotions were a little bit
A
wonky.
little up and down.
Well, yeah, a little
but
bit.
I still feel like I could make rational decisions when it mattered.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Totally agree with you.
Like I worked while pregnant.
No, I get that, yeah.
I'm not like some...
You were like 90% rational. There's like, definitely, I could put like a 10%.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe...
Yeah, but with you, I saved it for you, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Why are you saying it like that?
I don't know. I wasn't around all of your coworkers. Like, maybe they have a different opinion.
I know. But women are allowed to work while they're pregnant, and everything will be just fine.
Yeah, well, she's still running for mayor, it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, she's just a little irrational about this in particular.
Yeah.
But Avienda says, we can't, and Elaine does not like that answer because it feels like abandoning Rand to whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're just like delaying and kind of arguing, and the guardswomen have picked up on something being off.
Yeah, well, because they're like arguing quietly to each other, and we don't usually delay the whole gateway thing. We just go.
Yeah.
But now you're arguing about something, so what is it? I do want to do a quick callback, though, because immediately when they feel that, Elaine thinks that nothing has changed in the bond with Rand, and that feels very similar to when Rand was in Farmatting and he throat punches Rochade, and then he goes and tells a story, and then Min's like, I didn't feel anything in the bond, and you were literally like killing a dude in an alley.
What?
And it's like, they just needed to be killed. What's the deal? It's not a big deal. And it's like, dude, that's not normal.
Yeah.
And during the cleansing right now, maybe.
Although I think that right now, Elaine is much too far away to actually feel emotions. I agree with you. I agree with you that Rand is probably emotionless during this.
Yeah.
However,
a little bit cut off emotionally. I don't know.
Okay. Definitely cut off emotionally.
It was just the similarity in like, I don't feel anything, and maybe I can.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Avienda has a lot of logical arguments as to why they should not go running blindly in.
Yeah, and it's an insight into what she went through in the rings.
Oh yeah, we do get that, because Elaine pushes back a bit. She really wants to go. And Avienda's trying to be patient, and then she explains that when she went through the rings in Ruidian, she sees some things that she doesn't specifically remember, but she has these vague impressions, like a hint or a warning. And about this, she has a hint of a warning in her head.
Yeah, so it's like, if we go to him now, something very bad will happen. And this is where we get the Pakara thing.
Yes.
It's like, hey, maybe one of us will die, maybe both of us will die, or maybe it'll be fine. But I have the warning, like, just don't do it.
Yeah, so Elaine concedes that they shouldn't go, and they're going to return to Camelin, so Avienda opens a gateway, and they ride through with Elaine thinking that Rand is the love of her heart, but Andor is her duty.
Yeah, let's do that. But hey, there's one thing that Elaine says to Min that I want to point out.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, it's during this argument of like, we should go, and Avienda says no. And Elaine says, Don't tell me that I'll endanger the baby. Min said she'll be born strong and healthy. You told me so yourself. That means I'll live at least long enough for my daughter to be born.
Yeah.
So Elaine kind of thinks like, I'll be fine because I at least have to have my baby because Min's always right.
Right. But you'll have your baby because Avienda just convinced you not to go.
Ooh, I like it. Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And like, is that how viewings work? I don't know.
Yes.
Like, we still don't.
Yeah.
Okay. They're always right. They have to be right.
They're always right. So it's about what actually ends up happening.
Not the hypotheticals.
Not the hypotheticals.
Cool.
Which is the rings. The rings are hypotheticals. Min's viewings are this is set to happen.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Right? For the most part?
Yeah, for the most part. With the rings, we've gotten it from a Wise One perspective, too, that the rings in Ruidian is like you get to kind of see your life, but you don't get to remember everything necessarily. And we get a recap on that.
When you see it different ways, too, right? Because that's what Moraine said. In her letter, she said something about knowing which way it would go because she had, like, different outcomes that could have happened or something like that.
Yeah, let's leave it at that for the hypotheticals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And this is a good place to take a break before we jump into the next chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're back here to talk about chapter 11.
Yeah. The talk of...
Debts. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
What did I call it? Aes Sedai argue with each other?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a fun conversation.
Yeah. You know what's fun? A map.
Oh, yeah. We do get a map.
We get a map.
Of Caemlyn.
We've never got a map of Caemlyn before?
Yeah.
I think the whole reason why we get the map of Caemlyn is so we can clearly see the far matting gate.
Okay.
And I don't think, because that's what we talk about in this chapter.
Yeah.
Is something happened at the far matting gate.
Yeah.
But before the end of Winter's Heart, we wouldn't really know what that is.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, did we get a map of Caemlyn in, like, Eye of the World or something? I don't know.
Okay, so we had to go look. I had to go grab my Eye of the World, and there is a map that has Caemlyn on it. However, it's more of like an aerial...
Yeah, it's got like Whitebridge, Four Kings, Caemlyn, where Tar Valon and Dragonmount are, but that's like the rectangle.
It's like kind of like the zoomed in where the boys traveled on the Caemlyn Road.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that we've had this zoomed in.
And like honestly, that's one of the things I don't generally remember where we're showing the maps.
Or why
or when, but okay. But yeah, this seems like the first time. And if we're wrong, let me know.
No, I think that this is...
I think it's the first time.
I don't know why. I don't think that Robert Jordan would show us a map we haven't seen before.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, this is the first time we're getting a Caemlyn map.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking and I'm like, where's the old city? Where's the new city?
Well, and then you got to think about, like, where Logain got brought in.
Yes.
And then where he traveled and where Rand must have been.
Sure.
To be on the wall.
Very interesting.
A lot of callbacks.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay. Caemlyn. There you go.
Yeah. Get the whole palace, the palace grounds.
Yeah, I like it.
What else? What else do you see?
Little image. There's like a sparrow or something in the top left corner.
That gets on a bunch of maps.
Yeah.
That's not new.
Okay.
Should we get into this chapter?
Yeah, I was going to say there's not much. Not a lot on this map going on.
So chapter symbol is the lion, and we're continuing in the next moment with Elaine. She's riding through the gateway into the Caemlyn stable yard, but it's the queen's stable yard, which she's
there's a whole thing about that.
I wish I wasn't using this, but I kind of have to.
Yeah, well, there's been a whole thing where she's being careful about not using the benefits of being queen before she's queen,
right?
Because that's gotten some like ladies kicked off before they could even take it.
Sounds like superstition to me, but okay.
I mean, maybe a little superstition, but that's okay.
But what is strange here is that when she gets into the stable yard, she cannot feel a single woman channeling anywhere in the palace.
Yeah.
Even though there's more than 150 women who can channel here, and usually there's always somebody channeling somewhere.
At least someone doing something.
Whether it's the Windfinders learning stuff or keeping...
little torturing of the Suldam, whatever works. Trying
to convince them or get them to admit that they can see weaves.
Yeah.
Or, my favorite, using the power to steam wrinkle...
Yes, very important.
your shawls or whatever they do. Now, there's a whole sequence of them stabling their horses, and Elaine is thinking about having a hot bath.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
in the background of all of it, Elaine's Queen's guards are taking all of the precautions necessary to protect her, and they all seem to be really diligent in their duty.
Yeah, and we do get a note that they're even tasting all of Elaine's food and everything.
Which Elaine is very annoyed about, but I'm like, yes, Elaine.
You got...
Yeah. But then, and they're
you
like...
got drugged.
Yeah, exactly. But are they tasting it for... like a minty taste?
Yeah.
Specifically?
There's flaws in the system.
Because if we're only tasting for poison...
Yeah.
You know...
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like
she
fork
was drugged
root
with
and...
fork root. That's... Yeah.
Yeah, because that really only affects channelers for the most part. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, there might be flaws in the system, but, I mean, it seems like they're doing a pretty good job.
Although
and Brigida's in charge here.
It does, like, knock you unconscious. It stops channeling, but I think that it knocks everybody unconscious.
We've gotten notes that you need, like, way more to have an effect on non-channelers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've gotten them before, where it's, like, not nearly as effective. It's like there is, but not quite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we get a huge recap about who Brigida is. Because
if you forgot.
She heads into the stable yard, and instead of going to Elaine, she goes to Avienda to ask about her sleep and her goat's milk drinking.
Yeah, which does not sit very well with Elaine.
Which PSA, I really don't think we should be drinking goat's milk while we're pregnant.
In, like, mass quantities here. Ugh. Right?
Yeah, and she's like, if anything's gonna give me sickness, it's the goat's milk.
It's like, maybe.
And I was like, yeah.
Maybe.
Gross. Well, the unpasteurized, I don't, like, just, that's not safe to me. So,
I don't know.
Yeah, of everything that she's eating and drinking here.
But you know what I really do wish was a real thing?
What?
Healing for hangovers.
Oh, yes.
That's the thing that I wish existed for real.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get that Brigida must have had a bit of a rager last night.
Yeah.
Because she has a hangover.
Like, bad.
And Elaine can feel it.
Yeah. You know, and as a side note, we kind of get a little bit of a sad story later on. Why Brigida's, like, drinking so much. It's pretty sad.
Well, you know what? Alcohol is not going to help.
That's not what the wise ones say. That's not what the Aiel say.
Her memory.
No.
It's her memories that are fading.
That's true. Yeah, so the sad story is that Brigida's having this thing where she can't remember things, and she's now becoming so worried that she's going to forget about Guidal Kane, because they're already, like, not going to be able to meet up.
I still predict that they will meet again. Just for a happy ending for me.
Yeah, Brigida. But you haven't laid anything out for how.
Oh, I have no idea.
But that's the thing. It's like, you can't just be like, it'll be fine.
I can, and I will. I'm just hopeful for Brigida.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Do you remember what happened with Guidal before Brigida got yanked out?
Yeah, he got born.
Yeah. So Guidal's somewhere.
Yeah, he is. I know that.
That's a really... Brigida. So hypothetical Guidal baby.
I do think that I said Oliver might be Guidal Kane.
Why?
Well, because Brigida at one point, like, liked him or something. It was like, oh.
Well, because he's ugly.
Yeah.
But that doesn't line up time-wise. Like,
oh, wait. Has Brigida ever met? Oh, yeah, they were there. They were in Abudar together.
Oh, yeah, she knows Oliver. Yeah, they were all, like, harassing Matt for being a terrible non-father figure.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe that's it. Because that's cute.
But can't.
No. Why not? Why can't?
So that's not how time works. No, I get Teleranra time works different.
Yeah, exactly.
But Oliver's like around 10.
Yeah. And we have no idea. Guidal could be an adult now.
How? That's not how Teleranra works.
Yeah, I don't know how Teleranra works.
But I'm saying everything we've seen from everyone who knows everything about Teleranra, that's not how it works. And then you have Brigida being like, I don't know, mid-30s, and what, her soulmate's a 10-year-old? I don't think so.
Then we're in, like, Twilight territory, and it's weird.
It's like, why is this 500-year-old vampire into this teenager?
No.
It's problematic.
There's a werewolf who imprints on a child.
Oh, yeah, that's worse.
And then, yeah.
You know what? I didn't know that was a thing. Mm-hmm. Wish I didn't know that.
And then, he's like her protector or whatever.
Yeah, sure, okay.
For a while.
Right. Wasn't Twilight...
I actually don't even remember how any of that ends.
I have no idea if this is got any truth to it, but isn't Twilight like a fanfic of like 50 Shades?
No, opposite.
Opposite. Okay, I knew it was something like that.
50 Shades is a fanfic of...
Right.
Offshoot. It's somebody who wrote fanfic of Twilight.
It's as related...
50 Shades of Grey.
It's as related as walnuts are related to pecans. Which is like moderately.
Good tie back.
There you go. That's the way we call it. That was
terrible.
That's what we call it.
That was so bad. Okay.
Is it as bad as this section here? I don't know.
All right. So Elaine is going to ask about Dylan and Rihanna.
Yeah, they left.
They left, and they're not back yet.
To go, where do they go?
Where did they go?
Yeah.
Why did they do it?
And the real important question is, where are they? When will they be back? And then, is Dylan going to bring anything back that might help the current situation?
I don't know. And at what point are we worried?
Why are we worried?
Because Elaine's like, are they back yet? And the answer is no.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I mean,
And-
what would Dylan be going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I had no clue.
Okay.
Probably some stuff, similar stuff that Elaine's doing here.
Yeah, like bring reinforcements or something.
But she left before the army showed up.
Yeah.
To siege Camelin.
Yeah. Yeah, like we
So-
don't know exactly what's going on, but I mean, maybe something, so.
I mean...
Dylan likes Elaine, like that's not
She does like Elaine.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned that she's, like, dead or something, you know? That, like, she's in danger. Or she's, like, prisoner of Amather... No, not
Aramilla.
Aramilla.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like,
Okay.
I'm not thinking that she's twisted on Elaine.
Okay. Like she's defecting?
Yeah, I don't think that.
Okay.
Until now.
Yeah, I don't know what you think. Now
Oh.
it's spiraling. Oh no, okay.
God.
Okay.
And
Well-
also, who kind of cares?
Well, Elaine cares. And 27% of
Elaine
readers
just wants a bath, and honestly, that's so relatable.
just like for you in the current
For
moment.
me. For
like
me
I don't want to do
personally,
this right now.
I just want to take my glass of wine and go have a bath. That sounds really good.
Okay, but first we're going to get a quick lesson on the houses of Andor. You ready for this? Okay.
I mean, yes, please.
Okay, here we go. This is
Here's
the
my
situation.
cake. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to be the best actor you've ever met. Okay, go.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
All right.
So there. No, I can't. I can't.
No,
can't. Okay. So there's over 400 houses in Andor. 19 are strong enough to contend, and people will rally around
Wait,
them.
hold on. 400 houses in Andor?
And Elaine has visited 19 of them in the last couple of days.
That's not enough.
Not enough. Okay.
She's got to do better.
Well, those are the ones who are like for sure loyal to her. So
Mm.
19 are the big ones
Should she
who
be
matter.
visiting houses that are on the fence? Because the ones that are loyal to her are already on their way.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I guess there's something to be said for retention.
Well, and the visits she already explained this. The visits she's
Yeah.
making is so that once she takes the throne, people like her.
Still.
Still.
Because these houses like her.
Yeah.
They're all
Okay.
calling her queen already.
Exactly. So, usually, all 19 of the big houses will stand behind the daughter heir unless she's like super incompetent.
Like, really dumb.
Which is not good because this isn't a good look now because it's like, okay, they're not all standing behind you. That's not the point.
Well, things are a little bit trickier than just
Normal times. I get it. I get it.
Morgaze died
It's a
and
little
Elaine
chaotic.
is taking the throne. And they're like, actually, Elaine's a dummy. We're not standing behind her.
Plus, Morgaze had like a bunch of people whipped in the street.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Which was
That's
through
my
no fault of
point.
her own. That was Ravine's fault.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
No, I know. So it's like Morgaze had a rough deal. Anyways, so before Morgaze took the throne, House Mantir lost it to Morgaze because Tigraine vanished. Rand's
Where'd
mom.
that chick go?
Who knows? She's gone.
Gone.
Anyways, having Rand, that's fine. Morgaze rallied 13 of the 19 big houses to support her.
And you only need 10.
You only need 10.
Wow,
Exactly.
10.
By law and
10
custom.
only out of 400 houses.
No, 10 out of the 19 big ones.
10 out of the...
The
yeah,
other
but also
300 and... What,
Don't matter.
Oh, man, I can't even do the math.
Don't matter.
80-ish, 81, 381? Don't matter. Who cares?
Yeah, but
Tiny.
10 out of 400. That's not... Just do it.
It's pretty good.
That
Okay.
really doesn't even sound like a challenge.
Okay. And then to tie a nice little bow on this. So now we've got Arimella, who has Nayan and Elenia behind her, because like the whole kidnapping thing. Whatever. And then Dylan
That
is
doesn't
saying...
really... Kate, interrupting. That doesn't sound like whatever. That kidnapping thing sounded like a pretty great ploy on the other guy's end. You know, through this entire chapter...
Well, Arimella's been discounted the entire time.
I know, but here's the thing. Do we really want Elaine to be queen?
Do you?
Yeah. So...
Do we
This
want?
chapter
I don't know.
had me thinking, if for some reason, I know it's written that Elaine's our protagonist and we should want what she wants.
Sure.
And we should be cheering for her and rooting for her. However,
Sure. Go on.
does it matter if she's not queen?
Well, I mean, she's got another kingdom called Kyrian that
Right?
Rand was like, hey, you can have this one.
And everybody there wants her there.
Mm-hmm.
And
what are you saying?
She has so much else going on.
She has a lot.
Know?
There's a lot of things.
She's a lot on her plate.
Yeah.
Like, I get that she wants it, but...
Pretty bad. She wants it pretty bad.
Can't always get what you want.
She was born into it.
So
here's the problem with royalty.
So we're only...
Yeah.
Like, cheering for Elaine to get the throne because she wants it, not because maybe she's the most qualified or... I don't know. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and I get it.
Because, like, who's to say this Arimilla wouldn't make a better queen than Elaine?
That's fair.
Like, just because she didn't grow up in the palace with her mother as queen.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we should be considering that.
Well, let me tell you about monarchies. Let's just go into that one real quick.
No.
Yeah.
I'm already doing my very best pretending I'm interested in this.
I know, I know.
Aren't you impressed with me, though?
No, I like it, but what are you saying for this plot line?
I'm just saying that...
Because that would be a bit of a twist.
It doesn't matter to me if Elaine becomes queen.
Okay. I can respect that.
That doesn't matter. She's pregnant. She's going to be an Aes Sedai, or is already, or something.
Mm-hmm.
She could go be a Green Aja.
Yeah, she could be Queen of Kyrian.
She could be Queen of Kyrian.
It's like a lot of things.
And I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah. But that's been on the table. That was like a huge plot point.
That's like a huge thing.
Rand kept it secret for a long time.
And that entire nation, like, really could use a ruler.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if we just let Arimilla have this one, then maybe we could settle things there instead of just trying to do everything all at once.
I get it. Are you talking yourself into this point?
I mean, it came to mind while I was reading.
Yeah.
I was like,
maybe we don't need to do this.
Maybe we don't. Like, this is a lot of effort and a lot of work, and you're really up against it.
Yeah.
Elaine.
Yeah.
Here.
Do we really want to be? Okay. Anyways, let's wrap this up. So, Dylan is insisting that 6 of the houses will come over to Elaine's side, even though some of those people want Dylan on the throne, because Dylan is also a contender, even though she says, no, I want Elaine.
I feel like Dylan would be a good queen.
She's, pretty level. She throws chairs at assassins. Like, I like it. I like Dylan.
And Elaine just falls down drugged.
Yeah, idiot. Come on. And now, it seems like things are getting desperate because there's 6 houses supporting Arimilla, and who knows if some of those houses are going to start flip-flopping now, like the remainders. So, yeah, I mean, her back's up against it. It's not a great situation. Abdicate.
Well.
No? Okay.
I get why she's fighting for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because she was born into the royalty, and her mom was like, you have to be queen.
Right.
That's why.
Entitled.
A little bit. Like, I don't want to say that's what a daughter heir / princess, which is an outdated term, by the way, we learned.
Yeah, we learned.
Right?
That. Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a thing.
Anyway, okay. So, I think I just did an excellent job engaging in conversation about something I did not want to talk about.
As good as you did with the pecan situation.
Oh, this was better.
Holy moly.
This was so much better, I think.
All right.
I did a great job. So, Elaine and Brigida do a bit of a walk and talk, because Brigida complains about the boys and the old men that Elaine is bringing back because none of them can do their jobs properly.
There's a boy chasing a chicken, and an old man is like egging on either the boy or the chicken. We're not really sure. Good little side plot.
And then finally, Brigida whispers and says, something happened just before you returned. It was super weird. Everyone's really jumpy.
Yeah, crazy.
I was about to get healed, and then someone just fainted.
Oh no. That's what, the women do.
They
right? they faint. Oh no.
It was really overwhelming.
I mean, it was a lot. It was
so much.
But don't worry. Elaine knows what's going on.
Yeah, she's like, it's fine. Wink.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to, say what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want rumors getting back to Arimilla's camps and stuff.
She wants some rumors getting back to the Arimilla's camps. Not all. The rumors she likes are the ones where it's like, ooh, look at all the channeling and cool stuff they can do. Not the, oh no, the Aes Sedai are trying to abandon Camelin. Those are the bad rumors.
Woo! We're
Yeah, there's a difference.
All right, and Brigida figures that this must have something to do with the Forsaken, and Elaine doesn't say no.
That, I mean, she's like medium.
Right.
There's a little bit of Forsaken stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there are 4 Aes Sedai who are in Camelin, and they round the corner.
Yeah.
I wrote them down.
Okay, go.
I have to flip open.
Okay.
Okay, so I have, these are the Aes Sedai in Camelin with Elaine. Vandine,
Okay.
who has 2 novices with her,
Yep.
who used to be the kin.
The sister of Adelius, who is murdered.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have Merleli.
Yeah. Who was the original person in Abu Dar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like
That's
before
right.
Elaine and Nynaeve went there. Yeah.
And we get that she's worn the shawl for 100 years.
Oh, crazy.
And she's a wide-eyed brown.
Okay. There we go.
We get Saritha.
Yep.
Who's a gray.
Yeah. We don't know too much about the last 2 here. So Saritha.
No. And then Cariana.
Yeah.
Who hates Wilders.
Yeah.
And is a green.
Yeah, but interestingly, Cariana and Saritha have different opinions of the kin. Cariana, who hates Wilders, is kind of cool with the kin.
Because most of them trained in the tower and then ran away.
They're runaways. They're not like Wilders, but Saritha is like, these kin hate them.
Runaways suck.
Yeah, can't trust them because they're going to be saying all sorts of crazy things.
Okay, I have some other notes about the Aes Sedai when we get to it. I think you're going to be surprised.
That you have any notes at all?
Hey!
Okay.
Okay, it's going to be a wild turn of events.
Okay. Why?
I picked up on something. I've done some detective sleuthing in this chapter.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to trust you. Do you want? Okay, let's get there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I have no idea what you're going to be saying.
Okay.
But I'm excited.
I hope everybody is excited. Okay, so for Aes Sedai, they're coming around the corner. Vandine is not looking so good. She's in super rough shape.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Her sister got murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We get a lot of exposition, and before any of the sisters can even start talking...
Bear in mind, Vandine kept walking.
She just keeps going.
She doesn't stop. The other 3 stop.
That's right. And the 2 kin, who I don't remember their names, or the not 2 new novices who were kin, they follow after her.
Yeah. Kirsten and Zarya.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
those are the ones. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They're also on the suspicious list.
For you.
Yes.
Not for Elaine.
No. That's right.
Okay.
So, now before any of the sisters can start talking, Elaine says, I don't know what it is, but we can't do anything about it, so quit worrying.
Yeah.
And then there's some description about how they all react to this, and then Saritha asks Brigida to give them some room, and then Cariana, what's her name?
Cariana?
Yeah, elbows her way between Elaine and Avienda, mostly because she hates Wilders, and they want Elaine kind of on her own.
Yeah, and Avienda's a Wilder because she didn't train in the tower, and there's that whole thing. But there are 2 hilarious things, in my mind, that happen here, is the description of how they react to things. Okay. So, in Elaine's mind, Cariana looks in... Okay, so I don't really fully understand this either, so maybe we can figure this out. Cariana looks more like a wagon driver than an Aes Sedai, despite her ageless face.
Well,
is that an insulting thing? It's like, are wagon drivers ugly?
Yeah.
Or something?
Probably. It's kind of like when they say that she looks more like a farm wife than a noble.
Like,
or
what
something
is...
like that.
Okay.
And it's like, only nobles and Aes Sedai can be pretty.
Yeah.
And farm wives and... wagon drivers.
I'm adding that to my list of insults. Like, you look like you drive a wagon. And they won't know what it means.
No.
But I'll know.
I feel like someone could probably pick that up, though. You shouldn't say that to someone's face.
Yeah, you look more like a wagon. Can't even. Mm-hmm. And then the second one is that Marillilla does not look serene because she's got wide eyes and half-parted lips.
That's her ditzy brown look.
Yeah, so it's just like I can't even do it right now, but...
Okay.
Oh, it's just... Yeah. I had a good time reading those descriptions.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we do get a bit of a conversation about this entire situation because mostly they just want to leave.
Yeah. Yo, those are the suggestions. We should leave. We should think about leaving. We should
make
prepare...
preparations for leaving just in case we have to leave.
Yeah. Or leave right now.
Or, yeah.
Which is very similar to just like we should go.
Yeah.
If
also,
it gets
we're
closer.
going to have to take the kin with us for other reasons also.
Yeah. And that's the whole difference is that
Yes.
Cariana is like, oh, we should take them because they're kin. And Saritha is like, hate them. They're liars.
So we have to take them so that they don't scatter everywhere.
Well, and Saritha has this weird idea that it doesn't seem like she believes that they're being honest about their ages.
No.
Because she says anybody who would claim that they're, they've been out of the tower for 300 years would say anything because it's clearly not true.
Yeah, they're all lying.
Yeah. So, like, she still doesn't... It's kind of weird.
Well, when you're ingrained in your own thoughts and thought process, it's really easy to just...
Yeah. But, like, the other Aes Sedai seem to have been
Well, maybe they do, but maybe they're just not saying it. Because, I mean, it's easier to just think that everybody else is a liar than to admit that you were wrong about something.
That's true, and I'm feeling personally attacked right now.
Okay.
But, just, in general.
Just in general.
I'm right about everything all the time.
So Elaine tells them that they're not going anywhere, and then reprimands them for spreading gossip.
Yeah.
Because they're going to stay here until the Amerlin seat tells them otherwise, and she puts them in their place.
Yes. Okay.
Now, at this point, I want to say Carrie-Anne, but that's not how the audiobook pronounces it. Now that I'm reading it, it looks like Carrie-Anne.
They add the extra
Yeah.
Carrie-Anne.
Carrie-Anne.
Yeah.
She says that Vandine needs to take her share of the sea folk lessons.
Yeah. So, during this, there's also this weird... Carrie-Anne and Saritha won't make eye contact really also with Elaine during this whole, hey, Vandine needs to take her turn at doing this.
Right.
Because Elaine is also shirking her responsibilities. She's also not doing the whole win.
Well, she's also fighting to be queen.
That's what and Elaine thinks that in her own thought. She's like, oh, I have a lot of reasons why I can't, but also because it sucks.
But it was Elaine who made the bargain with the sea folk in the first place.
So, maybe Elaine should step up a little bit?
There's also a very funny sentence where Elaine is sure that Nynaeve left just to stop having to teach the Windfinders.
Which, yes.
Maybe. That's definitely part of it.
It was 65%. It was definitely
She really
up there.
didn't like it. And no kidding, because even the stuff that Merlilla has been having to put up with.
She is a fragment of her former self.
Yeah.
Marillella, it's been said a bunch of times, she is doing so poorly right now.
Not doing good.
No.
And the sea folk are really mean to teachers.
They are. I don't like it.
I know.
I don't specifically like Aes Sedai generally, but Marillella, does she deserve the treatment? Probably not.
And at what point can we be okay, we taught you?
Yeah.
We're done. We're done teaching you, especially when you are incredibly abusive.
Can we go back to the negotiation table? Be nope, deal's off.
This is actually done because you're abusing people here.
Well, right.
Yeah. All right. So because Carrie-Anne was hey, Vandine should take her share, Saritha speaks up and says, no. Vandine is super distraught over her sister. She needs to be given as much time as she needs. And then gives Elaine a side glance.
Yeah.
And then is teaching the Windfinders is challenging, but maybe just an hour or two would help. Don't you think?
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe you should take a turn.
You should take a turn. But this is my first detective note
about
on
what?
Saritha. So Saritha...
Okay, I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
So Saritha is coming to Vandine's defense.
Okay, don't know what you're going to say. Okay, keep going.
Okay, let's back up for a second.
Yeah.
Elaine thinks that without a doubt, either Merlilla, Saritha, or Carrie-Anne
is the murderer. Yeah.
Murdered Adelius.
Yes.
Okay, that's what she thinks without a doubt.
One of the three or all three.
And I'm pretty certain that it's not them just because of how certain Elaine is. Just because it feels too obvious, and I really don't want it to be obvious. I want it to be more of a mystery.
Yeah, that's been your thing.
That's my thing.
Okay.
That's what I like. However, if I do have to pick one of these three, potentially to be a Black Aja to have done the murder, or at least assisted in drugging.
Yeah. Okay.
For the murder.
Maybe not drive the stake into the chest of
this
man, but
maybe someone else kind of
serve the tea.
Yeah.
Right. Because that was the thing. It was the tea, and then
Right, and I feel like Adelius was there by accident and just had to be murdered. With the poison.
Okay.
And so maybe Saritha is a Black Aja. I'm just trying to piece together here. So if Saritha is a Black Aja and she did like Adelius and Vandine, but was ordered to do this thing to get Ispan dead.
Yeah, okay,
then
okay.
Adelius
Why are you locking onto Saritha?
Because she's coming to Vandine's defense here like she's guilty.
Okay.
Like she's like, no, Vandine's been through enough, and like maybe she's feeling guilty.
Where it's like dark friend, but also maybe some like emotional...
Like maybe she likes them.
Yeah.
And didn't want to have to, but had to.
Yeah,
you know, dark friend.
Okay. Okay, you know what?
Okay, because there's a lot. She's really coming to the defense of Vandine, and then there's other more obvious reasons that we're gonna come to.
Let's continue then.
Because that's when I was like, you're suspicious, lady.
Yeah, well, okay. Also, side note, Brigida points out that one of the worst dark friends she'd ever met was during the Trolloc Wars, and it was a mild-as-milk lad who jumped at loud noises and then poisoned an entire city's water supply.
Yeah.
So, you know, dark friends can be not the typical person like, you know, some people we've seen.
Like David Hanlon.
Exactly, yeah. They can be like less obvious people.
Yes.
So.
Mm-hmm. Like Pater.
Yeah.
Who gets punched in the face.
He did get punched in the face, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Elaine tells them that Vandine can take as much time as she needs to grieve her sister, and then she thinks about how there can be no doubt that Adelius' killer was either Merlilla, Karina, or Saritha, one of them, or more than one.
Yeah. And
that's where we get
just
that.
Because she doesn't really justify why.
No. And then Saritha brightens up here and goes, "Oh, look, here's Captain Mellar, my hero."
Yeah, okay, yeah, she does do that.
And so either she's a dark friend and she's sucking up because she knows, like maybe David Hanlon is maybe giving her orders, like maybe she knows.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that. Or she's sleeping with him.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe she's not suspicious at all, and she's just like she's
bought
super into him and has really bought into this. I like that she's suspicious.
Well, and it's kind of funny because from the Millie Skane perspectives, we have heard that there is someone on the inside here who's a dark friend,
right?
But we don't exactly know exactly what or who or how.
One of the kin.
It could be It could be.
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay, but I like that.
Yeah, anyway, so she goes, "Captain Mellar was a hero again while you were gone."
Amazing. Good job, Doylin.
Yeah, and then this is where I wrote, Saritha is more suspicious than before. I'm just putting some puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, she's mooning over him.
Okay, yeah. That makes it seem like she's just into him.
I don't know. That's a word that is like used in this series sometimes. But
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, I saw it as sucking up. Like, my second read, I was like, oh, man.
It definitely could be that.
She's sucking up because dark friend.
Yeah.
But Elaine fixes a smile on her face and is like, "You were a hero again?"
Yeah, that's too sarcastic.
I know.
Because right now she's being, like, nice.
Yeah. Oh.
Because this is the father of her child.
Well, no, she's just not dispelling the rumors.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he does the dramatic, "Oh, nothing more than my duty." And then Brigida's like, turns out he's not a hero.
Yeah.
He led another...
Yeah, so I looked up this word, sortie.
Sortie?
It's a French word, and it means an attack made by troops coming out of a position of defense.
Okay.
So it makes a lot of sense. So it's like the troops in the defensive position of Camelin came out to make an attack.
Okay.
So he's done this.
He's without orders.
And several times. Yeah.
And this time, the fighting almost spilled into the Farmatting Gate, which makes sense because we saw the map.
Yeah.
We know where the Farmatting Gate is. And he ordered that gate to be left open for his return.
Yeah, so like not only like he left and went out of the city to go fight, he left the gates open, which is like, that's also bad. Don't leave the city gates open in the middle of a siege.
Right. Now, Saritha argues, no, it wasn't like that at all. Some lord's men tried to reach the city at night.
So who it is very important. Lord Luan. So Lord Luan's men. And Lord Luan is one of the three lord and / ladies that was on the border against Egwene.
Okay.
And those three Dylan thinks are going to support Elaine, but they haven't officially supported her yet. And that's
Okay.
the root cause of the problem. So Lord Luan is a very strong house. Doylan Mellar is saying, yeah, they were his guys, and I went out to rescue them, but Luan's is not pledged to Elaine yet.
Right.
So
Okay.
not on her side.
Okay, because what Sarita says here is that Lord Luan's men tried to reach the city at night, but they left too late. And if Mellar hadn't opened the gates and rescued them, they would have been killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
It's a weird story.
Fishy. And then Elaine is like, how did you know they were Lord Luan's men? And then he's like, oh, I didn't go by the banners. Anyone can carry a banner.
I know a guy.
I just recognized
him.
Guy, and I know he's Luan's man, and so the rest was easy.
Yeah, I know him.
And Elaine's like, and do we have a message from Lord Luan? And then Mellar's
like, hey, I'm coming onto your side to join your forces.
Not in writing. And I mean, this seems like dark friendly plot to me.
Well,
to get more infiltrated, get people into the palace.
But also keep in mind, Elaine thinks, okay, so he saved, in quotation, saved 80 out of the 100. How many of my soldiers died in this fight?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because what's the cost analysis here?
Yeah, exactly. So Luan hasn't declared for Elaine, and now all we have is 80 men from the other side who now need to be watched.
Who are in the city, and it's bad. And he almost he left the gates open and did all these terrible things.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's not happy, basically scolds him, and he is shocked by her reaction, telling him off.
Yeah.
Which I was like, yeah, go Elaine.
Yeah. I'm medium about it because Elaine is angry that he's risked the city.
Yeah.
Fair. However, then don't make him the captain of your bodyguard and give him all this authority.
But in her mind, the captain of her bodyguard shouldn't be going out and leading attacks.
Then,
he's not the captain general.
Then take the authority away.
Yeah.
You owe this guy nothing.
Yeah.
If you're actually angry and suspicious of him.
Well, I wrote actually here, how long until he's fired?
Right.
Because
should have been a week ago.
Yeah. The first time, literally the first time he did this.
Debatably, shouldn't have got the job in the first place.
100% no. Yeah.
But what's the game plan here? And I understand there's pretend that he's the father of my child angle to protect Rand's baby and her baby. I kind of understand that.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I'm pregnant with the Dragon Reborn's baby. Huge target on your back for anybody who isn't a fan of that.
But maybe he can be demoted.
Sure. We have options.
Yeah.
There's options.
Mm-hmm. Now, once Mellar is gone, Sarita says, even if he did do wrong, I'm not convinced that he did, though. He did save your life at his own risk. There was no need to embarrass him. Mm-hmm. And so this is either...
Okay.
But, he's gone, right?
Yeah, he's gone.
So then...
So she's, sticking up for him. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay. Yeah, that's all I got. And because I just I was like, wow, more, eh? Just, piling on. Just keeps going.
Yeah, keep defending this guy, but why?
Yeah.
What's the end game here?
What's the goal here?
Yeah.
But all Elaine says is... Never think I avoid paying my debts, Sarita.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know what they say?
A Lannister always pays their debts?
A Turkand always pays your debts. Yeah.
That came first.
Okay, yeah, it did come first.
I get it. No, I was actually going to say.
Maybe.
Well, it must have.
I don't know. What's the timeline? Now we're getting to the...
Oh, yeah.
The mixy business where it's Game of Thrones has maybe been out.
Oh, okay. We looked it up.
Get into some mixy crossover business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Crossroads of Twilight was...
2003.
That's right. And Game of Thrones...
The first one,
A Song of Ice and Fire series, 1996. A Clash of Kings, 1998. And A Storm of Swords, 2000.
Yeah.
And then A Feast for Crows, 2005.
So I assume that saying was brought up already, so...
Yes. Oh, I would absolutely. Within the first 3 books.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, crossover event. Love it. Okay.
Yeah, because that sounds like Lannister came first.
Yeah, maybe. Very possible.
Interesting. All right. Anyway, so we're talking about Elaine. Oh, I always pay my debts. I help my friends pay theirs. And it sounds like some weird threat, and I don't really get it, but that's okay.
Oh, well, okay, so she's watching these 3 who are very suspicious and might be the murderers. So she says, I'm going to help my friend with the whole death situation, and Van Dien needs some vengeance for her sister's murder, so Elaine is going to help pay the debt of finding the murderer of Deyvis, which is clearly one of these three.
Oh, I see.
Dun, dun, dun.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she's paying her debt to Mellar, who saved her life.
Exactly.
In the whole setup.
That he set up.
Exactly.
That's what's happening.
Now she's going to leave and go find a hot bath.
Hot bath time. Love it.
Sounds nice.
Okay, and of the three, it's Saritha?
I think most suspicious.
Okay. But is that too obvious? Because if you're going with the most obvious, then it's never the most obvious person. It's the most medium you suspect. That's the office rules. That's how we pick people.
I think that this might be given to us right now. So it's either the most obvious or none of these three and something completely different, which has been my whole thought the whole time.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
So we're no closer.
No.
We're no closer.
No, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly am surprised this even came up again at all now.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I really thought we'd sit on this for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we're not getting a resolution to this whole deal?
Yeah, I didn't even think we would talk about it for a long time.
Shows how much you care about Deyvis.
Well, it's what I thought Robert Jordan would do, not me.
Well.
Not how much I care.
Where do you think Moiraine maybe learned Balefire from? Brandy and Deyvis.
Oh, maybe.
There's some, speculation.
Uh-huh. Well, she spent time with them.
She did, and then she, disappeared for a while, and then suddenly she knows how to Balefire. I don't know.
Or maybe she always, knew.
Maybe. That's also very possible.
Yeah.
But she did mention she grew more powerful in the last little while.
I see.
So
I thought you were going to say, where's Moiraine right now? Because that's the ultimate long game.
That's what we care about.
This is the very long game.
Yep.
And I don't want to lose hope.
She's in the city.
No.
Probably not.
No.
Where is she?
Oh my god. I don't even know.
That's what we want to know.
She's coming back.
You keep
We're
saying
gonna
that.
see her again. Maybe she'll be a ghost.
Maybe. I love it. Okay.
She's gonna haunt Elaine in the...
Why Elaine? She had no connection with Elaine.
She's gonna haunt all of them.
Yeah.
She's a ghost. She can do whatever she wants.
Oh, man.
Ooh, the veil's thin.
Yeah, totally.
Ooh,
yeah.
Moiraine Ghost comes back. That would still count, by the way.
Would it? Does it?
If Moiraine comes back.
At all?
In any capacity.
Gross. No,
even
thanks.
as a hologram.
Like a force ghost.
Yeah, maybe Moiraine is a hero for the Horn.
Yeah,
How do we know she's not?
I mean, we can't...
She's so super cool and, really heroic.
Oh, man, okay. Does anyone even really like Moiraine that much, though?
Oh my god, Brett.
What has she even really done?
This is it. I just figured it out.
Hero for the Horn.
Now she's in Tel'aran'rhiod, hanging out in Victory Village.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Yeah.
And maybe that's when she'll come back. If she's dead.
Then
right?
But if she comes back at all...
Then I win.
All right.
I win the Wheel of Time. It's an entire competition, and I will win it.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Are we ready to be done?
Yeah, we're done.
I'm going to read on.
Yeah.
And I'm...
Well, I hope so.
Hopeful. No, I'm just saying,
I'm not gonna quit. Don't worry, everybody.
Okay. 2 chapters next?
2 chapters.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good news. All right, so before you go and look for a very hot bath, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for joining in and listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani and Brett, produced by Dani and Brett, with Passion Socks, Cody Fouts, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jonathan Reese, Jamie Young, Megan Smiley, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Lance Barden, Charlie Haz, Adam, Hannah Green, and Marta Thier. With music by Audionautics. Be sure to check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you, plus you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And at the time of recording, we have over 40 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. You can find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and information like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, you can visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a really big difference in helping other people find us. And tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.